Get known everywhere with Guerrilla Publicity with our special guest, Jill Lublin. If you want to be the number one influencer in your industry, you've got to get bigger media visibility. Based on her international bestseller, Guerrilla Publicity. Well, I've had so much trouble saying that word. I don't know why. Jill Lublin shares simple strategies to help you go from unknown to newsworthy. Sharing her proven secrets to understanding what the media wants, Jill joins us here to share some short-term doable tactics that will boost visibility for you and your brand. So on this episode of Entrepreneurship is a Marathon, you can expect that Jill will share with us proven secrets to understand what the media outlets want, instant actionable techniques that will boost your visibility, and how to drive prospects to your door and profits to your pockets. Before we get into all that juicy goodness, I know some of you are likely new, so welcome to Entrepreneurship is a Marathon with yours truly, Vanessa Zammy, every Tuesday live at 9 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. My clients call me the business defibrillator because I help bring life back to them and their business. Specifically, I consult micro businesses and entrepreneurs on how to revive, how to grow, and how to scale their business without burnout, without sleep deprivation, and without overwhelm. And as always, in every episode, what's the question? What's the win of your week? And so what has been your win of the week? If you're watching us live, type in the comments. If you're watching the replay, I want you to put hashtag replay in the comments. And then give us your win of the week. What are you celebrating? It could be a personal win. It could be a business win. But what are you celebrating this week that has gotten you just feeling good, right? Maybe you shared it with someone else. Maybe you haven't yet shared it with the world. But share it here with us. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll scroll. Well, no, you're watching a replay on YouTube. You'll scroll to the bottom, hit the subscribe button, and then keep on scrolling. And then you'll see the area to type a comment. If you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, you'll scroll, see the reaction, do a little love, a little heart. I love sharing loves and hearts. And then you'll comment as well, too. What has been your win of the week? Jill, what has been your win of the week?
Well, I taught my publicity breakthrough boot camp, like this super cool, super short, get it done boot camp where we pitch the media. And I have to say it was successful. People loved it. It was very dynamic. They were all engaged. It was really fun. And I'm so grateful.
Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Fantastic. And for those watching, when we say win of the week could be anything in the past 7 days. So it doesn't have to be specifically this week because this is Tuesday. So I think in the past 7 days, what has been your win of the week? My win of the week. I usually don't prepare for this question. I probably should, but my win of the week has been one of my team members, seeing her learn and grow. So we have already gotten her like really great at just like some of the marketing with the business. But now we're evolving her marketing techniques so I can eventually hand off yet another project her way. And so she took up one of the storytelling lessons really quickly. Still some kinks, but I love seeing growth in people. So that's been the win of the week. Team member growing to eventually be able to pass off something else her way. Loving that. So what has been your win of the week? Could be personal, could be business. Type in the comments. Now more than ever, we know it's important to stretch your message, right? So that your visibility factor stays constant. And Jill Lublin joins us here this evening to share some new powerful tips and strategies to shine your light and your message now, no matter what. First, I'll start off with her bio, and then we'll get on to the questions, the juicy goodness. Yeah, so hope your notepads and your pens and all the things, your phone memo, whatever you use to take notes is handy. Unless you're driving, then, have your ears open, but also your eyes alert. With that being said, Jill Lublin is an international speaker on the topics of radical influence, publicity, networking, kindness, and referrals. She's the author of not one, not two, not even three, but 4 best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals with publisher McGraw-Hill, and the co-author of Guerrilla Publicity and Networking Magic. Her latest book, Profit of Kindness, went number 1 in 4 categories. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and more visibility in the marketplace. She is CEO of a strategic consulting firm and has over 25 years experience working with over 100,000 people, plus national and international media. Jill teaches a virtual publicity crash course, and she has a special gift for us here this evening that will share near the end. But also, she teaches a virtual publicity crash course and consults and speaks all over the world. She has spoken on many stages, including with many luminaries that you may be familiar with, such as Tony Robbins. She also helps authors to create book deals with major publishers and agents, as well as obtain foreign rights deals. So she does a lot in this visibility publicity space. So we're so happy and honored to have her here with us this evening. And I think we know, visibility is important in business, right? We don't have to talk about why is it important. But there's so many ways, right? People can get visible, and I know that it seems as though, Jill, your focus is mainly on the media side of things. What would you say are the top, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, what would you say are the top 2 mistakes business owners or people looking to maybe build a brand, what are the top 2 mistakes that they make in trying to get media attention?
So, first of all, not willing to get noticed. Like, listen, I talk to a lot of people for whatever reason, they're a little scared, and I get it, but here's the thing, what I've noticed in working with all kinds of people at many different levels, and new business, transition business, 25-year anniversary, 10-year, doesn't matter. What matters is having a great message. So I find the first mistake is really not having that message. And then sort of relates to the second mistake, which is not trying anything, not getting out there or thinking, well, the publicity is only for the big guys. Let me tell you, it's for all of us. Every single one of you in business, if you're in business, you need people to know about you, know your name. That's a key.
I love that. I love that. Publicity is not just for the big guys. It's for all of us. Jot that down, folks. So with that being said, what are some proven secrets that you've discovered? And there's way more in your book that you can probably share here this evening. But what are just some proven secrets that you've discovered to help, everyone, all of us, really get that publicity that we so want and need for the brands?
Well, when I was writing Guerrilla Publicity, right behind me here, it was interesting because I got to interview amazing people like Entrepreneur Magazine. And, imagine this, you an entrepreneur? Yes, thank you. Because guess what? They are looking for people just like you listening here. And one of her secrets, she told me to pass on, the editor of Entrepreneur Magazine, she said, tell people what I want is value and benefit. I don't care if it's all perfect. So you hear that? All of you out there, you got to give value and benefit. That's what the media wants. Okay. So that's a secret to a certain extent because everybody is doing, well, I like to call it beat the chest publicity, right? It's your publicity is not about, hey, look at me. I'm so cool. Wow. Look at what I do. It's about what fits in to what's going on out in the marketplace. That's what the media cares about. How can you solve a problem and give real solutions and actually tell people what to do? That's what they want. That's what they want from you. Oh, I think Vanessa's coming back in.
Here we go. There I am. Yes. So giving real solution, real value, and real benefit, right? And I think it's very interesting you say that because even in, I think people like the business owner minds can hopefully see a sort of a pattern here, right? Because when you talk about even getting the ideal client or ideal customer or the right audience, what is it about? Giving them benefit or value. Oh, can you not hear me? Can you not hear me? Hello? You're not hearing me. Okay. Interesting. Why are you not hearing me? Are you not able to hear me, Jill? Let me unmute again. Can you hear me now? Interesting. Okay, we're going to fix that problem for a second. Right now, I'm going to ask Jill another question in the chat. 1 second here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go. This is interesting. Not quite sure what's happening there. Okay. You try speaking. So we can't hear you, Jill. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh, Interesting. Okay, 1 second. So Jill, I'm not hearing you. Jill, I'm not hearing you. But I checked on YouTube and they can hear me. Okay, she's going to log back in, folks, for even more details. Has to do things live, technical difficulties, but that's okay. We will get to interesting because we were actually just talking for like a good 15 minutes before this show. So not sure what happened there, but hopefully we'll get Jill Lublin back with us to share even more tips and tricks with us on publicity. While we wait for her to show up, she does have a free gift for us. So feel free to check it out, publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. Yes, with that being said, I'm going to see Jill. Can we hear you now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear. I can hear you. Awesome. Yes, we are back, folks. We are back. Okay. With that being said, awesome. So, where were we? Okay.
We were at, what do you do and what do you create about publicity, right?
Yes, that's where we were. Glad you remembered. So yeah, so love it. So the value and benefits. So yeah, so business owners, as I was saying, yeah. So business owners, you probably are, your ears are probably ringing, right? Because what Jill was talking about, she's saying, okay, when you reach out to media outlets and or blog people, writers, etc., they're looking for the value and benefit that you can bring them. Same thing when you're looking for ideal customers and clients. What is the value you bring to them, right? Think of it kind of like you're kind of doing that same similar relationship in a sense too. Now, let's go into sort of a little key touchy topic here. So there's that thought, right, that that's out there as well, because there are a lot of people who are they get visibility, quote unquote. Maybe it's like but it's like a photo of them posing with a famous person, right? Is it to say that they know that person, in their inner circle, right? But really they just caught the person somewhere and like snagged the photo, right? And or same thing with the brand. And so I'm not sure if this is a word or anything, but it's not name dropping, but it's maybe like photo dropping, right? Like, what do you say about those type of like photo droppers? Like, what is your opinion about like, I guess maybe the type of medium publicity and visibility that's out there that people can get? And these are preferences.
Yeah. So here's the truth. Does it really matter? I mean, if you're going to just go after like the celebrity stalking, so to speak, maybe not so good. But if you do have some celebrity photos, like I've got some with Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield. I've got it with Kevin Harrington from the Shark Tank, and Beyonce's father of all people. And I got some cool photos, and you absolutely want to be marking that. You mentioned I spoke on stage with Tony Robbins. I have this amazing photo of him hugging me after he introduced me on stage. Like, wow, that means the world to me. And, do you want to use these? Of course you do. The truth is you got to have a bit of a strategy. This doesn't have to be complicated with your publicity. It's not just nabbing celebrity photos. I want you to be the celebrity, right? But does your status go up with some celebrity photos? Yes, it does. And that's a good thing. But really, it's about getting your message out. And that's a key.
I love that. I love that. It really is about getting your message out there. That's awesome. And so with that being said, what are some key ways that people can get their message out and turn that media, so to speak, that they get into business, right? I'm always saying quality over quantity, right? Like it's cute to have 10,000 followers, but if you get $0 in the bank, then, you still don't have a business. So what is sort of maybe a main thing or 2-3 main things that you share with how people can convert that media into profits in their pockets?
Well, let me just say, my clients, one of them had 42 book sales of independent published books in a 15-minute podcast interview. And another woman said, listen, I got a 250-word article in my small town newspaper and got a $5,000 client. Now, that's what I'm talking about. So everybody I've seen typically converts the prospects into clients. And if, then they stay in your pipeline, obviously, and you reach them. That's the power of what publicity does, but it also gives you that third-party endorsement, which is important, and the trust factor, which builds. So a couple strategies I like that are quite powerful is continue to do podcasts. Why? Because number one, they're a little bit easier to get on. There's lots of them. They need guests and they need you. So, for instance, a great way to get on that's quite simple besides the we'll call them, Facebook groups that have podcast hosts, which they do, and podmatch.com. I mean, there's a matchmaker.fm. There are certain, what I would call podcast matching groups. So that's one easy way. And the other one is go to iTunes and type in a keyword, like I would type in publicity, and I'd see who's doing anything related to that, or business, because I'm a businesswoman and so are you, a business person. And what I think is key, if you see some podcasts doing, let's call it business topics, if you're in business, you can talk about that. So what I want is your head to, shall I say, get wider about what's possible and what you could be talking about.
I love that. I love that. Yes, yes, yes. So ultimately, and for those, so like I know for me, I was able to book over like 60 podcast appearances using matchmaker.fm alone. And then have since, stopped using that because now I get invited to things. But ultimately, yes, love that in terms of the podcast and using that as an avenue for people as well too. And what would you say to people? They probably heard me say that number like 60. Oh my god, I had to message all those people, or just, oh, I have to get clients and I have to get media. I'm like, I mean, do I even have time for this, etc. I know you mentioned, you like publicity is not just only for the big people, it's for all of us, so to speak, right? But what are some, maybe, because this is I'm all about helping people grow their business without burnout. But let's say the person doesn't have enough time and they already have a list of things to do that they're already doing, just like they think they're doing with visibility. What is sort of a key takeaway, other than obviously get Jill's book, clearly, one, but then what is like another sort of action item or an immediate step that someone could take right now that would just change the game for their visibility?
Well, a couple things. One is, I don't actually want all of you doing all of this. Okay, so I want you to start thinking about team. And Vanessa, I'm sure you're with me on this one. When I say team, I'm not talking about expensive, maybe your top level person, but there are all kinds of people who would love to find podcasts for you to be on, and from all over the world, and put someone in there in your budget to hunt podcasts, as I like to call them, and they can, find the right ones and then pitch them with the right pitch. And that obviously, is something that develops based on what I like to call the problem solution formula, which is what's the problem out there. Now, I promise you, if you're doing multiple podcasts per week, and then, in your free gifts, like I'll be giving you one here, then people sign up and then they become part of your influence and impact, because that's what we're doing with publicity. You're creating influence and impact, and what I like to call the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome, right? And so with that, my friends, podcasts are great for converting. And I think write an article even every, 500 words, by the way. This is not overwhelming. And if you're using that word and you're saying you don't have enough time, you got to look again. Because ask any busy person what they're up to, and I promise you, they're still showing up for things. They're still networking. They're still doing all the things that a business does. But what's different is they have team. So you can have team find media for you. That's great. You can have, now that you got me in your front pocket, you can have experts look at what you're doing and make sure that you're streamlined enough and that your message is right. But the good news is there are so many podcasts and radio shows and TV and newspapers and magazines looking for people like you. So she just mentioned, Vanessa, that she got 60 from matchmaker.fm alone. So I would encourage you to go with, for right now, the podcast matching services, and one person, I'll call it on staff, as an independent contractor who finds them. The other thing I want you to think about is that an hour a week is sufficient. I am not asking you to do, 5 hours of media a day. I'm telling you to do 1 hour a week. Think about that. And you can spread that out to 30 minutes. Come on, that's doable. And on top of that, I want you to create that ongoing visibility building. And that can be, I think it's really important to show up in networking groups, for example, which is one of the ways Vanessa and I met, because that creates the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. So think about I'd go, at least twice a month to a networking event, and on Zoom, that's easier than ever, friends, no excuses. And then if you're searching for the podcast, right? So what I'm talking to you about is called visibility building activities. And I'd like you to be looking at think about this, and then put it into action even better. What's a visibility building activity I can do this week? And that may be get on a podcast, go to a networking event. Those are good first starts and will help you a lot.
Awesome. Amazing. We just had someone who commented about all the practical ideas that you're sharing, saying thank you and shout out. Love it. So happy. So I love it when not only just meeting the guests that I have on the show, but also love it when the guests actually share practical information. It's great. So fantastic. And, with that being said, it is very much, and you mentioned a couple things, right? So article or blog every couple of days, having someone to help you out as well, right? With that whole process. And it's, add a little thing to that too. When it comes to the article and blog, it may not, maybe you don't, maybe you're like every 5 days. I don't know. Like some of my clients, it's like, I tell them to write something. They're like, okay, once a month, I can do once a month. And even then I have to keep them accountable for that. So even if it's just once a month though, it's better than nothing, folks. It's better than nothing. Right.
It's better than nothing.
Your team,
yes.
There's so many people out there. You don't have to just hire. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I got to hire someone. You don't have to hire a full-time salary person with benefits. All right. Like it could be independent contractor. It could be somebody like a part-time person for a couple of hours to just get you the list of contacts, and then you go off on your own, or you have someone who also does the contact information for you and emailing them, but making sure that you at least have a process in line. So whether you're working with Jill Lublin here, I guess you're working with, me, you're working with someone else, but get a process down and some sort of thing that you can then pass off to that team member so that they're not flailing around lost. Unless they're an expert themselves, right? Unless they already have done this before, then by all means, let them take it over for you. But with that being said, if you're getting someone who's a newbie, they're definitely gonna need that training and development. And so by all means, pass them Jill's book as well too, and or connect with Jill live and in person for yourself. So love it. Fantastic. So as the thunder is rolling outside my window here, I guess it seems. We're going to put on a final note. How can Jill, well, actually first, I know you have it. We've been talking about this free gift. I kind of mentioned it a little bit during our technical snafu, but what is this free gift that you have for us?
Well, first of all, I love to give a lot of value, and you will find in my publicity action guide, you will find a great, wonderful, more free PR tips than we had time to talk of today. And then it's a fun 1-2 punch. Why do I say that? Because you get 2 gifts from me. So wait for that second click and come on a free publicity masterclass. But not only is it live and interactive with me, you get to have your questions answered. So please check that out. I know it's going across the tape, but I'm going to say it anyway, which is publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. Come into my masterclass, ask your questions. Let's get you in the news, my friends, because your message matters. It's time.
I love that. And for those who are watching us either on Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, or on YouTube, I did put the link in the comment section. So if you're on YouTube, scroll down to first subscribe and then look at the comments and click on the link. And then if you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook, you should be seeing it to the right and or to the bottom as well too. So publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. Get that free gift, get those publicity tips, even more than we could even cover here this evening. And thank you again to our special guest, publicity expert and author of Guerrilla Publicity, Jill Lublin, for joining us here this evening. It's been a pleasure having you all this evening on Entrepreneurship is a Marathon. See you again next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Chat soon.